Eugene Cooke, Grow Where You Are. Check us out, growwhereyouare.farm. We are pruning trees today, and we also opened up some fields today, and we're getting ready for springtime. It's gonna be abundant. CDKs, we appreciate you. We just getting all the bottom stuff off these trees.
Start at the bottom and work our way up.
Work your way up, because I'm gonna be here next to you.
Okay.
So and same thing, Carlton. Any of this stuff that you see that all like the internal of the tree, all this all gotta go. All these crossing branches, they all gotta go. If it's too big for your loppers to get, which is probably anything over, you don't want to do something like this, you can probably bust one of those. Right. When it gets to that point, just holler at me and I'll come through and saw them off. That is. Or I'll give you the saw. Just like these are crossing. This branch crossed through these two branches probably maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And because it didn't get pruned, it fused right here.
He just pushed against that with his whole body and couldn't move. Look, the branch, look.
Wow. Yeah.
So now, right, once this thing leaves out and all these things are crossed together, when the wind hits this tree, instead of going through it like I was talking about, going through the fingers, the whole thing is like a net, like a sail.
You cut.
You have to cut
on either side of it. Off that.
Yeah, you gotta cut that off.
Here, let me get this piece out of the way.
Yeah.
Get outside,
Clear around your eyes before you get in, because you know it. And this tree and that other pair have plenty of internal work to do before we get
10-year-old tree. Apple tree or peach tree, you say?
Apple.
Apple tree.
And you see how the blossoms are about to come out of these clusters. They're in clusters rather than individuals like the peach. So interesting.
So, oh wow, so that's the difference between an apple. Can you grab that again, please?
Yeah. Let's see if we can find one. I thought I saw some blossoms coming out.
Look at that right there, y'all. That's the apple tree blossom. Oh, look at that peel. That's man, look at that.
Pink coming out on it too.
Wow. And look at this one right here. This is the peach tree right here, y'all.
Oh, yeah. We're getting in here. I do like thinking about it like a sculpture though. Calms me down because I start getting so serious. I'm. Yeah, and if you see one you don't know, we can look at it together.
Okay, you know? Okay, cool.
And I think we pretty much got all the ones that are eye pokers out, but if there are any...
So that was the main goal for doing that, was to clear the area when you're walking up on it.
Right, that's always the first. First, like, he always stops me because I'll be walking into stuff that's poking into my face. He's like, get the stuff out of your face first.
Right. Same thing when you're working on the ground, get the things that are on the ground out of your way.
Yeah, just start where it's simple.
You're working on that, so can I clear this right here off of here?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Just as long as you got an eye on me, because it's harder for me to have an eye on you. Right?
There you go. You got it, baby. Let me not do your job. My bad. Let me get out your way.
Plenty to do.
My bad. Let me get out your way, man.
Some bouquets at the house.
Y'all live far.
You gotta just turn it down, that's all.
We need the dub. So when Carlton was pruning on this one, there was a little rough cut, and then he came back and he smoothed it up. And when you smooth it up, it allows for, if the rain falls, the rain will fall right back off of it. When the tree gets left with too much of a nub, or the cut is jagged, the rain can go into there and cause disease, right? Or other parasites, worms can start to lay their larvae in it and cause disease. So after we finish pruning this tree, we're gonna coat it with kaolin clay, which is a white clay. You can spray it on or you can paint it on, and it seals up the tree. So if there's any larvae that have been trying to live in the bark over the wintertime, they'll suffocate and they won't be able to come out in spring and get into the fruits.
Wow.
And also, if there's any disease or pathogens that are out on a cut like this, you cover it with clay, seal it up, and it protects it.
Oh, cool. There's gonna be some clay coverage right there. What are you
So on
talking
a
about?
new moon, when there's no moon in the sky, all the sap in the tree is in the root. But in the full moon, but since it's, I mean, it's just different. It's a different situation. It's supposed to be cool. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be wintertime. But during a full moon, all the liquid in the tree is full. And when you cut it, you'll see it. It'll just drip out like maple syrup. It'll just bleed, bleed, bleed.
So trees have more fluid in them during a full moon.
Just like we do.
That is so
Yeah, just like
interesting. Oh my
We just
goodness.
all start to kind of get full up when the full moon comes. You know what I mean? And so right when when it goes past the full moon down to a waning moon to the new moon, the sap and the liquid in the tree starts to go back down into the root.
It wanes down.
It wanes down into the root.
That is
that's when
so
you plant-
dope.
That's when you plant root crops,
When
right?
the full
When it's on the waning side.
moon.
So your radishes, turnips, beets, potatoes, all of those root crops you planting then. Right now is when we planting everything that comes above ground. Full moon time is when you plant tomatoes, eggplants, beans, cucumbers, collard greens, everything that's gonna fruit up on top of the ground, you plant it during a full moon. Because the magnetic energy of that moon is pulling the seed.
I do actually.
That magnetic energy of the moon is pulling the seed upward. And when it's gone, it's pulling the water downward. And so the root crops will start to dig for that water. So the
Yeah.
potatoes will just nuzzle themselves down. The turnips, the carrots will get a nice long taproot on them. Yeah, man,
Wow.
it's all magnetics, man. Well, I mean, like James Brown said, vibes, vibrations, you know what I mean?
Literally.
It's all it is. We think we seeing something, but we only really seeing, it's just like this sister told me, a woman named Dr. Jewel Pookrum. She used to say, how is it you can plant like a pear seed, for example, and you get this big tree? Where did look at all, we probably took, I mean, if you weigh that, that's hundreds of pounds of material that we took off these trees, right?
Right.
Where did this material come from that made this tree? Where did it come from?
Okay.
Most people will say it came from the soil.
Right.
But if it came from the soil, then there'd be a big hole in the ground,
Right.
because you would have had to, like if your body is made of food, when they put a plate of food in front of you, you can't get a full body eating the plate of food and the food still be there.
Right.
The plate got to empty. So if this was coming from here, then there'd be a hole around these trees. And if you go to the redwoods and you see
Because
a giant,
it will be sucking everything.
it would be
from
soaking
it.
everything up.
So
So it ain't doing that.
okay.
What's happening is the seed goes in the ground and it gets connected into that electrical system, and it puts out a sprout. And then the tree starts to gather this material from the atmosphere. This is the
yes, okay. That makes sense. to
It
me.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's why you can have a big old, look at these oak trees. If they were eating the soil, there wouldn't be no soil left in there.
That's true.
Think about them trees. If they fall, them things is thousands of pounds. But there's still so much dirt. They actually add more dirt to the ground because every year they drop their leaves. So they add more and more. This is the carbon that was in the air, becomes the leaf, and then becomes the soil. And then if we eat it, it becomes us. Once it gives a pear, oh man, what you talking about? Don't let me get to talking on this, because this is what I
That's
Hey,
deep.
man,
all day long.
But you know what's needed, and I think what's very important to Deborah and I is this whole disassociation with food. There is
Yes.
there is no connection to the food. It's like, I'm hungry, let me go to the store. How come all of the fruit just look the same? They all shape the same, they the same color. What's up with all the light? I feel like I'm going to buy jewelry when they put all the light on the glass so it'll make it, you know what I mean, make it shine
And
and
they
everything.
wax it and spray it down.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some, you know, saying some tricks or two.
Right.
So, but for us, that's what I'm saying. Like when I say to you, brother, we're so appreciative of this lesson right here because this is what we come from. You know what I mean? This is why our grandmothers and grandfathers were able to eat. They were able to eat pork and beef and stuff like that because they were able to work and they understood the cycles, the lunar cycles. Who came? He designed the
almanac.
The almanac.
Oh, Benjamin Banneker.
Benjamin Banneker named the Big Ben after him over there and all the way over there across the pond, named after him in Subliminal. So
because he did it.
He did it.
You've been to DC?
Yes,
when you in DC, you're like, damn, this thing is precise.
Right.
It ain't a joke.
Right.
Yeah, so, Benjamin Banneker was not playing.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, man. This is when we start to understand what's actually happening, then we understand things in a very different way.
Right.
Because we think it's something that is not. You know, these trees pull this material out of the sky.
Good stuff though, and I want.
Yeah, for real.
So again, I didn't grow up doing none of this, right? And growing up in the city, it was a gentleman across the street named Mr. Willie. We call him Willie from Wine City, right? But when you step in his backyard, man, it was like I stepped in the country. He had chickens. He had a pen back there. He had ducks. He had goats back. He had a goat back there. The man had a 55-gallon drum and a little string on the thing. He would take the string, put it around the chicken head, pull them by the legs, harvest them, throw them over in the bucket, and you see them. So I didn't get the opportunity. I hear a lot of people say that, oh man, you know, they snap the head and the chicken running around the yard. Well, I didn't get that part.
You saw something else.
I saw there's a city version of that, which included seeing this chicken being pulled by his legs off, getting the head and thrown into this bucket. But that gave that to me. That's how I found out that duck eggs would make your pastries taste so much better. Because I'm a chef, we know. I mean, that's so all it's a lot of things that I understand when people they say, oh man, you killed that deer, that's nasty. But they'll pull up at Burger King or whatever, and I'm not trying to begrudge what these people need to do to offer employment for people. What I'm saying is,
but we don't even know what that meat is.
If it's meat, in fact. But I know that this deer was over there. I've been watching that deer eat those acorns. I see him on my trail cam. He's on an organic, all natural,
walking around,
free range. so I mean, there again. That's that disassociation of the food that we ingest. Absolutely. You know, why is our skin reacting the way it is? Absolutely. You know what I mean? What's up with the water? Why we keep drinking poo water and pea water? So I mean, we could go on and on and on, but I mean, that's for me. This what makes it so real for me. This what makes it so much more, because as a chef, I was wondering, it's like, man, I'm making this pretty food, but how do they kill the animal? Well, what was the animal? But when they kill it, did they just stick it in the stomach and open it up? No, you got to learn it. You have to process. So it's a whole process. So that's what
so you don't poison yourself.
Right. So that's what sent me on that journey. And so all of that is consummate of right now where I'm at. Now I'm over here pruning fruit trees with a master. I'm there putting Wu-Tang sound in the background.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be out here with a chef. Chefs, that's who need to be doing this work.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yes, indeed. So that's what we got, family. Y'all see what it is?